Hello everybody, welcome back. I wanted to discuss today the weapons of Star Citizen, mainly the ship weapons we have in game, which I consider to be the most important tools for a player, for not only protecting, defending themselves from an attack, but also for achieving our goals and becoming the ace combat pilot we had always dreamed to be. So I wanted to take a good look at the weapons we have right now in Star Citizen 3.0 in order to understand how they work, how we can use them to our benefit, and how much they could be improved in the future. The best way to start our discussion is by mentioning the different categories of weapons that are available to us. Important to know and understand categories that dictate how we can use the various weapons and where we can equip them. The first and major distinction between weapons in Star Citizen has to do with their type, or more specifically their damage type. At the moment, there are three different types of weapons based on that distinction: energy, ballistic, and distortion. The energy weapons are basically laser weapons that don't require ammunition to be used. Ballistic weapons fire physical projectiles that can penetrate the target's shield, and distortion weapons try to drain the target's power supply in order to disable him without damaging his vessel. Each one of these categories of weapons has its own advantages and disadvantages. Laser energy weapons can be fired almost indefinitely since they don't require ammunition, but in order to deal damage to your target you will have to bring down his shields first. Ballistic weapons can deal some damage to the hull of your target while taking down his shields at the same time, but require ammunition, which increases your operational cost and could mean that you might run out of ammunition in the middle of a fight. Distortion weapons deal no damage at all, which means that you sacrifice hard points for the ability to disable the target. In general, the plan is to have energy-based weapons being more efficient against shields, and ballistic-based weapons more efficient against the hull and armor of your target, promoting like these mixed loadouts, combinations of energy and ballistic weapons. Right now, both types of weapons can be quite efficient on their own, so pure ballistic or energy loadouts are still viable in the game. Based on the way some weapons behave, we could further separate them in more categories like railguns, shotgun-like weapons, laser repeaters, or Gatling guns and cannons. The second most important distinction between weapons has to do with their size. The vessels of Star Citizen come with a specific number of hardpoints of different size that can bear weapons of similar or smaller size. In total, there are 5 sizes of weapons we can purchase and equip on our vessels at the moment, and the bigger the weapons, the stronger, but also more expensive they are. So for example, if our vessel has a size 3 hardpoint, we can equip there a size 3 weapon, but not something bigger. The weapon will then be working as fixed, but we can also equip a one size smaller weapon at the same hardpoint, working as gimbal, if we first equip a gimbal mount, the size 3 gimbal mount in our example. Like this, we can create full fixed or gimbal loadouts, or even a combination of the two. The main difference is the amount of damage you can dish out. A fixed loadout will be using the biggest and strongest in-slot weapons, but the gimbal loadout will be more flexible and easier to score hits, especially if you are a mouse user. One very important difference between weapons directly tied to their size that, to be honest, surprised me, has to do with the power required to equip them. In Star Citizen 3.0, the power is determined by the size of the weapon and not their type. So as we can see, all weapons of the same size require the same power, regardless of their type. Size 3 weapons require 150 power, Size 2 100 power, and Size 1 75. This is something that will probably and hopefully change in the future, making the selection of weapons a lot more interesting and meaningful. With the new interaction system, we can also assign our weapons to different groups easily from our cockpit seat, grouping weapons of same size or stats together in order to increase our efficiency. Every weapon has its own unique stats that help us create an efficient loadout, but unfortunately these stats are hidden from us in the game. There is no way to know their exact damage, projectile velocity, or range. Thankfully, we can find these very important stats in a list and spreadsheets made by other helpful players, like in the case of the Star Citizen database. When creating a loadout, some important stats to take into consideration are the rate of fire and projectile velocity that will help you pick your weapons of choice and group them together to achieve the best result. Now that we know of the different types of weapons and how to distinguish them, how can we equip our vessels with them and start using them? There are 3 different methods of equipping your weapons, and the first and easiest is through the ship customization page in Arena Commander. This is the best way to be combat ready for your Arena Commander adventures. Unfortunately, some of the changes you make will not appear in the persistent universe. This is where the second method comes into play. Inside Crusader, we can use the Vehicle Loadout Manager in our Mobiglass to equip the weapons we want. The truth is that due to some issues, sometimes it's hard to create the loadout you wish only by using the Vehicle Loadout Manager. So a combination of this application and equipping the rest of your weapons on the landing pad manually after spawning your vessel will always create your favorite loadout. Alternatively, you can equip your weapons inside your hangar, but that is my least favorite method, since it is not working all of the time and can be quite confusing with all the different options. With each one of these methods you can also equip different missile racks, missiles and of course components like shields and power plants. Components are especially important in 3.0 and beyond because they can provide the required power to bear stronger weapons or even protect you better from weapon damage in the case of shields. So this is everything you need to know about weapons in Star Citizen 3.0 and how they work, an integral part of the game that will continue expanding and improving, creating more options for fun and immersive gameplay. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am SquidofLove and I will see you around the verse. Bye bye.